What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Everything Weapons. The US Army revives a big giant cannon from the past to advance hypersonic testing. The US Army is transforming its cancelled long-range supergun into a test platform that could speed hypersonic development while reducing reliance on costly flight tests. So the US Army says it has successfully completed a live fire test of a hypersonic warhead using a cannon-based launch system at Yuma Proving Ground in Arizona, a demonstration that could provide a cheaper and faster way to evaluate the terminal performance of future hypersonic weapons. The gun in question is the Heavy Artillery Test System, or for short HATS system, or a modification of it from the cancelled Strategic Long-Range Cannon, a huge artillery piece intended to be able to hit targets out to a range of 1,000 miles or more even. This suggests that the program could still provide value, this time in the test world at least. According to the latest issue of The Outpost, the in-house news organ of the Army's Yuma Proving Ground in Arizona, the test marks the first successful live fire demonstration of a full-scale hypersonic warhead launched from what it describes as a cannon-based test system. Rather than relying on an expensive flight test of an operational hypersonic missile, the approach uses a gun to accelerate the warhead to high speed before impact, allowing engineers to study its lethality under controlled conditions. Hypersonic velocity means speeds of Mach 5 and above. The concept has been under development for roughly 2 years as a way to create what the Army calls a high throughput alternative method for assessing terminal effects at velocity and scale. While the release does not disclose the velocity achieved during the test or exactly when it occurred, the underlying idea is straightforward. Hypersonic weapons derive some of their destructive effect from the enormous, massive kinetic energy they carry into a target, as well as, at least in some cases, a relatively small warhead. A large caliber gun offers a inexpensive way to reproduce at least part of a hypersonic weapon's terminal conditions without expending an entire missile or firing from an airborne launch platform, costing millions of dollars. So if you guys didn't know, it costs a lot more money to launch munitions from airborne launch platforms as opposed to the past cannon type weapons, right? The effort brought together researchers from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and the Army Combat Capabilities Development Command Armaments Center, or DEVCOM, AC for short. What a long, stupid name. I think that's really dumb. Just personally, guys, it's like, do you really need like 10 different words for an organization? That's just my personal taste, okay? Not ideal, guys. One name for organizations from now on. Anyways, so DEVCOM AC, which developed a specialized launch package capable of surviving the extreme acceleration generated inside the gun barrel. Engineers also incorporated a DEVCOM AC electronic safe and arm fuse. While analyzing the internal ballistic forces the warhead would experience during launch, the extreme acceleration of being fired out of a cannon is one major difference a warhead or test article would have to endure compared to being mounted on an actual missile, and that must be accounted for. Before the live fire event, the team conducted an inert proof of concept firing that validated the overall approach. U.S. Army officials said those results led to a series of design refinements before processing and progressing to a live warhead. The service offered a detailed description of the final firing sequence after instrumentation checks and target preparation were completed, crews positioned the launch package, armed the fuse, and loaded the warhead and propelling the charge. Personnel then withdrew to protective bunkers while test officials monitored from the distance. As the article describes it, the test director issued the command to fire, following by a massive boom that echoed across Yuma Proving Ground in Arizona. Once the dust settled, engineers reviewed high-speed camera footage before confirming the shot had achieved all of its objectives. Kind of cool, a little bit similar to Mythbusters, and personally my favorite high-speed channel. Slow-mo guys and ballistic high speed are excellent slow-mo channels if you want to check them out, and if you don't know them. Most likely you do know them because they're super famous. Anyways, according to the U.S. Army, the silence was quickly broken by loud cheers, confirming a complete success. Beyond the immediate test, the Army reckons the capability could significantly increase the pace of hypersonic weapons development, so we'll just have to see and wait for the future if this is the case. Instead of relying exclusively on limited and expensive missile flight tests, engineers could use cannon-launched surrogates to generate impact data earlier and more frequently during development. The release says the demonstration has already attracted interest from multiple hypersonic programs that are considering incorporating the methodology into future test campaigns using a weapon from the past, like giant big cannons, right? The Army also said that it planned to complete various research and development and testing of SLRC components in the 2021 fiscal year. This included work on the very large rocket-assisted projectile that was supposed to give the cannon its 1,000-mile-plus range, as well as a system integration and technology maturation for SLRC to include designs for long-lead prototypes to be used in upcoming major system-level demonstrations. So, returning to hypersonic testing, other alternatives to end-to-end missile flights include rocket sleds, which have long been used to replicate high speeds to test different technologies. Fun fact, it does appear in the Indiana Jones Crystal Skull movie. If you'll notice, in that movie, there was a rocket sled. Very cool. Little fun fact for you. So, exactly how closely the cannon launched tests replicate the conditions experienced during an actual hypersonic weapons flight and what velocity envelope the Army has achieved remain unclear and unknown for the moment. Those details may ultimately determine how valuable the new test capability becomes across the Pentagon's growing portfolio of hypersonic weapons. At the same time, any help in accelerating hypersonic weapons development would likely be of high value, as China in particular has gained a clear lead in this critical new capability set. All credit to the Warzone website. That's where I was reading from, and kind of adding in my own personal thoughts, guys. But if you are new, especially if you are a new viewer, consider subscribing. Takes 1 second, helps me out a lot. And if you don't want to miss any video we post in the future, make sure you ring the bell, guys, and turn on all post notifications. That way you receive a text notification on your phone every time we drop a new video, so you stay up to date with everything military and war related. Thank you very much for watching. Smash the like button. A thumbs up is greatly appreciated down below. It does help out creators in the algorithm to break through to a new audience and new viewers that can enjoy the channel. Type as a comment down below of what you thought about this episode, and check out my older content as well on the channel. Lots of videos to binge watch. Until next time, you've been watching Everything Weapons. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.